5 seconds. 4.
Nervous in the service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Veterans Speak Out, sponsored by New Hampshire Veterans for Peace. This is Will Thomas, a member of Veterans for Peace, and I think one of my goals now is to work to prevent the United States from intervening in the affairs of other countries, both covertly and overtly. That's my goal.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
And I'm Bill McCarthy.
job.
I'm Bill McCarthy from Manchester. I'm a retired Naval Intelligence Officer, and among other things, I'm a former member of the crew of the USS Intrepid.
All right.
Oh yeah, is that a battleship? No, that's a
Aircraft carrier. It's retired now in New York City.
Yeah.
I'm Richard Murphy, Vietnam vet. Good to be here, and proud to be a vet for peace.
All right. Well, we've got to mention one of our colleagues here who's still incarcerated for
Bradley.
over 1,000 days.
Yeah.
And it's Bradley Manning, the young man who's accused of releasing the
Well, he hasn't actually
information.
been accused, right?
Well, they're charging him with what's the charge?
He's been
Espionage.
formally charged.
Yeah, with releasing this information, and apparently he's admitted to at least some of it. But we don't know. His trial is upcoming, but according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, he's supposed to be brought before a judge, military judge,
120
I guess, right?
days.
Within 120 days, and it's over 1,000 days he's been in jail, in prison.
He's being terribly abused, and for not doing anything really wrong. I guess you'd call it a whistleblower, but the more information we have, his point was you cannot make decisions unless you have some factual information. That's his whole point. And our president said that whistleblowers were going to have a better time under his
But
administration.
that has not been the case.
Yeah, he's already declared him guilty. You remember
Yes.
that press conference?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
That's
it's
a disgrace.
atrocious what's happening to this young man.
It's a
I
disgrace.
think the records
yeah.
show that whistleblowers are in worse shape now than they probably were under
I
Bush.
think they are. Yeah, I think so, Dick.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
Yeah,
Well,
I think
Bradley
so.
wolf in sheep's
Manning.org.
clothing.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to keep following that. Now, Bill, you were present last Friday, February 22nd, when we had a vigil and a rally for the people who live in Palestine, in a city, the second largest city, I believe, after Ramallah, in the West Bank. And can you explain a little bit about the signs and why we were doing this?
Yeah, because the city you're talking about is Hebron, and it's on the West Bank, which is Palestinian territory.
Right.
And it's a very busy city. And the name of the street that we're protesting that they reopen, which has been closed by the Israeli IDF, the military forces of the Israeli government, it's been closed for almost 10 years, I guess, or 6
or
years
more,
or
yeah,
something, or
right.
more.
10 years or more.
And so it would be like closing Elm Street. If an occupying group came in here, was able to occupy our country for a while and decided to occupy Elm Street because some of us might be a danger to those troops,
Right.
or whatever.
And well shut the front doors.
And yes,
or
it's
lock them and ensure that people
all the
couldn't.
businesses, right, have
Yeah.
been shut down.
And people can't move around the city. There are military checkpoints everywhere.
Yeah,
There are about 600 settlers or colonists, Israelis,
yeah.
many of them Americans.
And the ironic thing is, isn't it that the Israeli guy caused all the trouble?
By going into the mosque there, the Tomb of the Patriarchs, and killing 29 Muslims who were praying, and wounding 150.
And because of the suspected backlash,
Yeah.
that's their reason for doing this.
They
But
closed down Shahada Street.
it's absolutely brutal and
It is.
unfair.
It's just a symbolic of the.
But we were just one of 70, was it? Around the world, people are starting to pay more attention to what's going on and the bad actions of the Israeli police.
The
and
occupying
military
forces.
occupying forces.
Really, they call them the Israeli Defense Forces, but let's
it's
call
really
them
the offense.
the Israeli occupying and offensive forces. Is what
Just
they
like
really
our our Defense Department, it's the War
are.
Department.
Yeah, exactly.
We're always
Well,
starting in trouble.
the union leader, should I say Miss Leader,
Yeah.
did show up, a young man who succeeded Bob Lepre, who was a good friend actually, and took some photographs. But today is Tuesday. We haven't seen any. I'm not sure we will.
probably won't.
So what we did, what we're going to do is now show some of the photos that we
Great.
took. We'll just go through them rather quickly.
That the Miss
okay?
Leader wouldn't show.
All right. So here's one, and everybody who's seeing this can read the signs here.
Oh, yeah.
Settler kills 29. His name was Barak Goldstein. Palestinians at prayer. Israel punishes victims, as you said, for 18 years. End Israeli occupation.
18 years.
And by the way, the two women on the right are members of the New Hampshire Palestinian Education Network.
Oh.
One of them, Nancy, does live in Manchester. Okay, next one. And here I am holding a sign next to Betsy, and that's Peter, who does the vigil every Thursday in Manchester. And he has, you can't really see the top of it there, but a sign through McDonald's, and then underneath, Human Rights for Hebron. Well, apparently McDonald's contributes some money to various Israeli organizations that indirectly are used to oppress the Palestinian people.
Yeah, of course.
So, here you go. And there's Bill.
Yeah,
Good picture. 15,000 Palestinians of Hebron forced from their homes.
that's a good sign.
Yeah, and there's Carolyn, who's been to Israel and Palestine, I believe 3 times now as well, and has done a lot of work in this area. Okay, and hey, Bill.
The whole family.
Yeah,
The whole
that's
family.
it.
And of course we moved.
We tried to get my grandson. He's on vacation from Massachusetts. He's 12, and we almost got him to go, but he decided to read a book or something. You know.
Uh-oh. Well, okay. And next one. Again, here's
She got a good sign. They both have
Janet.
good signs.
Yeah,
It's 2 good signs.
stop the occupation of Hebron.
Who's the woman on the left?
That's Janet. Lives in Laconia.
We had
Laconia.
about 17 people, I'd say, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Next. And here's the group,
Oh, here's a group.
photo. And by the way, we were at front of City Hall. And we moved down the
Who's
street.
that guy, Wes? Wes what?
West Flyer.
That's
yeah.
Flyer? Is his
That's-
name? Oh,
yeah, West
West,
Flyer,
yeah.
who's a Vietnam
Yeah, I met
vet.
him. Yeah.
He's from Rochester, I think.
Rochester.
Yes, he
And
is, yeah.
You notice he's got the VFP flag, and then on the
Yeah.
other hand, he's got the Palestinian
Right.
flag there.
Yeah.
So there were, we had, a good number of people. And as Bill said, it was a global campaign, the 4th annual campaign to open Shahada Street. And there's Dave again, Tiffany, with that same sign. Okay. I believe that's it. Yep.
Okay, now before we go any farther, you mentioned something about the union leader
Yeah.
not being able to get the right information sometimes from the union leader.
Right.
I'd like to put in another plug for the Nation magazine.
Okay.
The Nation magazine. Just go to thenation.com and get your hands on this or get a subscription to this. You'll find out what's going on in the world. This we'll be talking more about it a little bit during the show. But I can strongly, if you want to know which end is up, you're not going to find out by reading the Union Leader.
Exactly.
I mean, and if they do
Or
put an
any other
article in,
United
they're going to
States
put the
newspaper.
editorial twist on it anyway,
right.
and they're going to give you all of this false patriotism and jingoism and frankly
Yeah.
BS
Yeah.
stuff that's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So I strongly recommend the Nation magazine.
Well, put a plug in for the Progressive too. Progressive magazine.
Progressive
Yeah,
is
Mother
also very
Jones.
good, yeah.
Okay. And by the way, the VFP convention in August of this year will be in Madison, Wisconsin, where the Progressive is
Yes,
Place
published.
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
That's
So
the birth
have
of the
have a chance to
progressive.
visit the
Governor Thompson might come down and see you guys.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of the unionist leader, they on page 6, buried at the bottom, where a lot of people, they open the paper up and they see the top first.
Yeah.
And this is really buried. The headline is "Thousands Mourn Palestinian Prisoner as Fears of Revolt Grow." That's before the show. We were talking about this young man, 30 years old. His wife is pregnant. He has 2 small children, and he was out protesting or standing in solidarity with the hunger strikers who are in Israeli jails and prisons. A couple near death.
That was in Union Leader,
It was, but it was
not where it should have been.
not where it should have
placed,
been.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's next to the legal notices, I see.
Yeah. And so this incident, this murder, I think it is,
Sure.
from being beaten, from what I suspect, from what I've read
Tortured
from
to
others,
death.
tortured, beaten, sparked 10,000 mourners at his funeral. And one of the groups in Gaza fired a rocket into southern Israel in retaliation, in response to the death of this young man.
Right, the murder of the
And who knows what will happen next? But this
Well, I think what will
Israeli-
happen next is Israel, the Israelis will attack with their jets, their tanks,
Yeah.
and their infantry. with all-
and maybe
overkill,
and
right?
their drones, which
their
some of them
drones.
are manufactured, of course,
Drones first.
from Elbit in Merrimack, New Hampshire. Whether they actually manufacture them there, they're part of their worldwide system of manufacturing facilities that do create and
Hopefully,
manufacture.
Governor Hassan will stop this or won't allow it to continue. That we produce a lot of those weapons right here in the state of New Hampshire.
Well, I don't know about that because she's nominated to be the head of Department of Resources and Economic Development, a guy named Jeffrey
From BAE,
Rose
yeah.
from BAE, which also manufactures drones and works with Elbit. So, all right. So, we're going to talk about Bill. What do you start with? Iran, right?
Okay.
Iran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Go with Iran.
Well, I'd like to. I just read this article in The Nation again.
Okay.
And the guy's telling us about we're being misled tremendously on the situation in Iran.
That's
we're
no
being
news.
fed myths, and no truth, right? And some of the myths that we've been feeding are getting are the same myths that brought us into Iraq under false
Yep.
premises and
Yep.
so forth.
Yep.
And his. One of the myths is that we hope that the people, I think the experts in Washington have decided that the people in Iran are so unhappy with Ahmadinejad that they're probably just about ready to rise up and overthrow him at any minute.
Not
And that's
true.
what they base their thing on. And it couldn't be any farther from the truth. Not only in Ahmadinejad's, but in anybody. There's no precedent anywhere for a sanctioned population mobilizing to overthrow the government and replace it with one that would adopt the policies preferred by this sanctioned and foreign power. It's impossible. It just doesn't happen. They thought the same thing would happen in Iraq, and it didn't happen. They thought the Shiites would overthrow them. They thought
Right.
the Kurds would join
Right.
in. It didn't happen, right? We had to go in and do the job. So that's one of the big myths, But it's kind of a long article, but it does explain it. But the punchline and the bottom line is that it probably would be the biggest mistake that this country could make is to go into Iran and attack it ourselves, because we would be about alone. The only ally that we would have, all the Arab countries would be upset about it, and the only ally that we would have would be Israel and possibly Great Britain. But everybody else is going to be on the other side, definitely. And it's not going to be an easy piece of cake in any event.
Of course not.
But they keep pushing us into it, and they're feeding us this propaganda and
Lies,
falsehoods
yeah.
and
Lies,
lies. Yeah, exactly. Lies. Lies.
Well, is there any connection between the dramatic increase in the price of gasoline and the sanctions on Iranian oil?
I don't think so. I don't
There's
know.
no connection?
I don't think so.
It's gone up tremendously.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I
The
mean,
block-
Blockade
I just-
about not using Iranian oil.
Oh, I don't know, but I
Europe.
just think they put the price up when they want to put it up.
Well, it could well be. It could well be.
I don't know, but you mentioned the sanctions, and we've mentioned this before, but it's hard for us to relate to these sanctions because you hear the figure 500,000 children died in Iraq as a result of the sanctions, but you tell somebody that, you think they're going to believe that? They're going to think you're blowing smoke. You guys got a problem.
And it's
with
only
everything.
half the story
It's-
anyway, because over 1 million people did.
That's
because of
exactly
the
right.
sanctions.
And this article says 1 million people, and part of the biggest part about the sanctions was that a lot of these people are dying of cancer because we were using depleted uranium rockets and bombs, and they were blowing up in neighborhoods, and children would pick up the nice colored blue part of the rocket and bring it home into their house
Right.
and play with it. And the other kids in the family would too. All of a sudden,
They'd
that
be
book I'm
swallowing
reading, there's
Carcinogens.
Yeah.
tens, 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And you talk about affecting you. I mean, these people there's no medicine. The doctor said, yeah, we could prevent this, we could stop this, but they couldn't get any medicines to do it because of the sanctions.
Right.
And you mentioned the fact about the price of gasoline. Well, the writer of that book went into a restaurant which had stained glass windows and a nice upscale restaurant, right? And he had a $25 meal, which is in Basra, right?
Yeah.
He left 4 inches of dollar bills. That's how much money it would take. And that inflation was incredible. And he said nobody in that restaurant
The people
was
said
even thinking about overthrowing Saddam
Yeah.
Hussein.
Yeah.
Because they were all pretty happy. The people on
Yeah.
top are pretty happy,
Right,
and they're
right.
not going to do that. And the other people are so desperate, they've given up on trying to have a revolution or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's-
And it's not just
terrible.
it's not just the civilian casualties in places like Iraq, but it's the American soldiers who also 30 years from now
Yes.
will be coming down with cancers.
Well, I think they probably
just like
already
the
are.
Vietnam veteran is coming down with cancers, bladder cancers,
Yeah.
diabetes, all because of Agent Orange and Agent Blue.
Yeah.
And they're dying right and left. But
Yeah.
people don't know about it.
No, they don't know
They
about
don't
it.
know
They don't
about
know about it.
But I was told when I was at the Manchester VA by a therapist, a PTSD person, that, she'll remain anonymous, but that she had never seen so many bladder cancers coming in. This is 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I know of 3 people who have died of bladder cancer.
Yeah.
And nobody knows it. They just figured that they just died.
Right.
They don't know that
Right.
what killed them. And they were all Vietnam veterans, and they were all around Agent Orange, because if you went anywhere near Vietnam, you ingested that.
Right.
Just like these soldiers in Iraq,
Yep.
and depleted uranium.
Exactly.
Swallowing that, and they're bringing it home, and they'll be coming down with
Well, they
cancer.
also have done some studies about Okinawa, Guam,
Yeah.
where we had troops, of course, stationed, and before some of them were sent to Vietnam. And apparently they had dumps there
Yeah.
in those places. And the natives have come down with high incidences of different forms of cancer.
Yeah, and that exists in the United States, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend who was, in fact, a school teacher at Memorial,
Yeah.
who was coming down with some disease, and he was stationed right next to a dump, Agent Orange dump, down south somewhere.
Well, I think I read where Fallujah, where they used an inordinate amount of
Phosphorus.
depleted uranium,
Mm.
the incidences of cancers in young babies, children, are tremendously
Yeah.
high. And the birth defects,
Yeah.
abnormalities,
Right.
are incredibly, have increased tremendously.
And
Well,
Vietnam veterans have children that have abnormalities from Agent Orange, but they're not about to talk about that in public because they feel terrible.
No, the
They take it
recruiters aren't going to
personal.
mention that, are
No,
they?
of
No,
course
no,
not.
no, no. So, Bill, what else?
I
do you
feel
got?
it's very important that people take with a grain of salt all these rush to war with Iran. And if I might
Absolutely.
just read one short pad, the administration in Washington, they can offer Tehran bigger material incentives for substantial nuclear concession as if the Iranians were donkeys to be manipulated with economic carrots and sticks. But Washington remains unwilling to address the Islamic Republic's sovereign rights and core security concerns, for that means acknowledging it as a legitimate political entity representing legitimate national interests. And as long as that is the case, it won't be a deal. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be too bad, right?
It is.
That they
It
they
is.
won't talk honestly with these people, right?
No way.
No.
No.
And as you Dick mentioned, this
Because Israel does not want us to talk, honestly.
they-
No, of course not.
They want us to do their
And
dirty
Israel
work.
is what
and in
tells
fact,
us what
Iran
to
is a
do.
member of the nuclear proliferation contract,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And who isn't?
Yeah.
Israel.
Israel.
And they've got about, how many?
They've
Two-
never
Over
been.
200, they report.
They're totally outside of the law, Israel.
Yeah.
And Iran is not. Iran is doing what they say they're doing. I
Yeah.
believe that,
Yeah.
100%. And look, talk about lies. Most, as they say, first casualty of any war,
Is-
truth.
Truth, yes.
There's no question about that.
No.
Any war, you can go back and look at how they would.
Well, we're
Gulf
both
of
surprised we
Tonkin
didn't
for
learn more
Vietnam.
from Vietnam, right? We're
Well,
surprised
yeah.
we didn't learn. Iraq was only 10 years ago.
Right.
And we evidently didn't
And
learn
they've already
anything from that
they've
one.
already
Exactly.
forgotten they've already forgotten that.
Yeah.
They completely forgot it.
I mentioned
George
this-
Bush is
yeah.
walking around free as the breeze.
Oh, this is
Dick
interesting.
Cheney's
Th-
walking around
this
free as the
is,
breeze.
yeah. Remember this?
Yeah, Rick Steves.
Rick
yes.
Steves, who's going to be, and he's a travel writer. He writes books, travel books, mostly for Europe, right?
Yep.
And he's going to be in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I think it's March 19th, and it's called "The Politics of Travel." And here's in this DVD we showed on the station before. He was invited by a friend to apply to go to Iran to do one of his travel programs. He said, "They'll never let me in," right? And he applied, and it took him a while, but he got the visa and went. And it's a remarkable video because it puts a human face on these human beings who
Yes.
happen to live
Yeah.
in a country, an
Yeah.
entity called Iran.
Yeah.
And they don't hate the United States. They
No.
don't want war.
They don't.
And look at all these children around.
You know, they've got a big relationship with us, right? Because more students from Iran came to school in this country,
Right.
even under the Shah. He may not have been the greatest
Right,
guy,
right.
but
He
they have a
wasn't.
very familiarity with the United States and with the American people.
They do.
And they have more respect and love, I think, for the American people than they do for the American government.
Yeah,
You can't
that's for
hardly
sure.
blame them on that.
But that, in the case of Iraq, I taught as a TA at University of New Hampshire with an Iraqi who was a history student. Sorry, I forgot his name, but nice guy. His
Yeah.
wife was with us, and they went back, and I have no
well,
idea.
they're not-
I bet
they're
you they're
not-
dead.
They're not illiterate donkeys at
No.
all. They're very well educated.
He was a very
people,
nice person.
healthy
And by
people.
the way, the Best Picture Oscar awards, the Academy Awards,
Yeah.
was a film called Argo. Have
Oh
you
yeah,
seen it?
right. I haven't seen
You've
it.
heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah,
And Ben Affleck.
torches involved.
And
right.
it does show at the beginning a small section, a portion of the film about the overthrow of Mossadegh.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
it does.
which we did.
Yeah.
The United
But
States.
the rest of the film, I think, is pretty much a propaganda puff piece for the CIA.
Yeah.
You know,
like
and-
that movie Dark 30 or
yeah,
whatever.
Zero
it is.
Dark 30.
That's complete
And
crap.
thank goodness that didn't win the
Right.
quote Best Picture, although it's all relative. You know,
That's the one about the
killing Bin Laden.
Oh, what's the other one about the hostages, so-called hostages?
there was
Argo.
in Iran. Oh, that's
Argo.
Argo.
in
Yeah.
Iran, and there was
That's
6
filled
eight-
with untruths.
Yeah,
that
I
Argo.
think-
Well,
Yeah,
the incident actually occurred. There
Yeah,
were-
yeah.
Yeah.
But the way the
CIA
Iranians are
comes
portrayed
up.
and the CIA comes
Yeah.
up as heroes.
Heroes
And even
and then
Zero
not.
Dark 30 was a CIA-supported film.
Oh, yeah.
all the way.
Absolutely.
And it always convinced people that
Every
torture
war we
works.
get into is CIA related.
Yeah, or
I
defense.
bet you. Could,
or War
I made a
Department.
statement. I bet you we could prove it.
Yeah. No.
One of the things that's in that film, though, that was controversial is the waterboarding,
Oh yeah.
which has been known as torture for 100 years, maybe longer than 100 years.
Yeah.
But the United States authorized it, and
Yeah.
like Dick and I were talking when we were kids, right? The bad guys were the Japs and the Nazis
Yeah.
who would torture people, and we think it's awful.
Right.
But now we were doing it all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, we weren't the only ones. There were like 50 other countries helping us do it, using the airports, rendition, moving here and there. But now some of them are unlike the United States, they're members of the European Court. And you can take these guys to court
court.
if you can prove that you were illegally tortured.
That's
But
why the
one guy
United
did
States
bring-
doesn't sign on
That's
to
right.
that
One
because
guy, a guy did from Macedonia, right? And
Yeah.
he went to the court, and the CIA picked him up and sent him out for torturing
Right.
to Afghanistan. But he won his case before the European Court. But in every one of these instances, whether we admit it or not, the United States government and the CIA is complicit in it.
Oh yeah.
course.
In
And
all
you-
50 of these instances, and there'll be more and more of them.
You'll
and
never
I don't
hear
know.
of
But-
anybody in the Bush administration, the George W. Bush administration, going to Europe or anything like that because they'll be arrested as soon as
You
they get
don't.
off the plane.
You don't.
I think Bush even curtailed
Yeah,
a
he
trip to Canada.
canceled one. Yeah.
Wasn't it? To
Oh,
Canada? Or
it was to
Switzerland?
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Maybe Canada, but he
Only-
has been to Canada.
Only one of the 54
But look
nations
at who's
has admitted
the
it.
head of Canada is a right winger.
That's true. Harper.
Harper, yeah.
And by the way,
Canada said that they examined the role of U.S. rendition and they admitted that they were involved in it. Canada,
Yeah.
that's the only one of the other.
did I tell you? I think I'm going down to Texas for the dedication
you said
of
you
the
were.
George
Yeah.
W. Bush
Lie.
LIE dash BUR
Yeah.
What a great-
BURY lie and bury, unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of people
Right.
under George Bush's
Yeah.
Regime.
And including a few thousand troops, American troops, who he lied
5,000.
to and said had to go to Iraq. It was a complete lie.
Right.
Total 100%.
And President Obama has opposed even establishing a commission of inquiry regarding torture, rendition,
Yeah.
and all these.
You know,
He's being led by the nose by somebody, and
Yeah.
it's the same
We don't
guy
know
that
who
was.
he is.
Obama, give back that Nobel Peace Prize. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
It's amazing. Oh, by the way, you mentioned earlier about the drones. There's a national organization of black churches who have come out and publicly condemned
Good for them.
Obama for murder
Yeah.
and evil, acts of evil,
Right.
use of the drones to kill people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They make it sound like they're so precise
That's not
and perfect.
that's not in the misleader though, is it?
I didn't see that.
You wouldn't see that
No.
in the misleader, no.
No. What else? We got a couple minutes left here. What else do we want to bring up here?
How's that book, anyways? Rick.
Is there anything
Terce's
good
book?
happening?
Rick-
I just started.
You just started it, yeah?
Yeah, kill anything that
Yeah,
moves.
kill anything that moves. Is there anything good happening with the United States foreign policy? Are we doing anything right?
I
Well,
don't think so.
You
I
know,
don't think we are.
I read something where George W. Bush gets credit for getting Congress to allocate lots of money for AIDS in Africa to help with medications to prevent deaths. So it makes him a humanitarian.
Yeah.
Well, which is a good thing. But
Yeah, that is a
but
good thing.
think of maybe the 1 million people or so who've died in Afghanistan, Iraq, and God knows where else around the world.
And the same token, though, the way the Planned Parenthood people have been sort of have their hands tied behind their back because they can't give out condoms, things like that, because
Right.
of the Christian right and all that
Hey, by the way,
Ridiculous,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. What about Chuck Hagel? Is he going to be confirmed?
Well, I think he is, but I don't know.
Kelly Ayotte's not voting for him.
Well, Kelly won't vote for anybody that the Israelis tell her not to vote
She's
for.
big. She's on the Sunday talk shows and everything, you know.
Yeah, they're grooming her.
Yeah, the Israelis got her. I'm sure. I'd love to find out where she got that $6 million to run for the Senate because it came from outside of the state of New Hampshire. I'll bet you the AIPAC gave most.
On
of
the
it.
other hand, though, I mentioned this last time, I think. Don't forget Hodes, who is
He is Jewish. Yeah.
I'm not sure why if they did that, why they went with her as opposed to Hodes.
I don't know, but he only got something like $700,000 from out-of-state monies, so she easily beat him 6-1.
Yeah.
as
Well, a
far
lot
as-
of the money was on the Republican side, though. Anyway, even the Adelson and all the rest of those guys,
Yeah.
they just bet on the wrong horse.
Yeah.
New Hampshire's a Republican state, always has
Yeah.
been. So
Right.
that's what they
Well-
probably just made a mistake.
But they won. They put her in.
Yeah, they couldn't lose. They had Paul Hose or she. I mean,
Right,
it's
that's
been
true.
pretty hard to
They
lose,
hedged
so.
their bets. I mean,
They hedged their bets,
they contributed
yeah.
to both.
And I don't think Hodes ran a very tough race when he realized where the money was going. He was smart enough to know that he'd be just
Yeah.
throwing his money away.
Right. Right. Well, what else? What else do we?
Well, that book I'm reading, Robert Fisk,
Oh,
is
yeah.
unbelievable. He actually met Mr. Kalashnikov, the guy that invented
Oh, yeah.
it, 81 years old, at a gun show in Abu Dhabi, and he met him. He's 81 years old, and he got to ask him, how do you feel about this? Your guns are used all over the world to kill people, and what do you think God thinks about that? And he said, well, my guns are used to stop people from killing people. That's what
That's what the NRA says.
That's exactly right. And every seller at the show had already used that same line.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
had the line down. And he said, as to the second question about God, I grew up in a country where that was not that important, I guess. And so I'm kind of an atheist anyway.
Yeah.
But this is
I'd
10 years
go
ago.
along
He
with
was
that.
81 then.
That's amazing.
One of 18 children. 6 who survived, a war veteran himself. They could only fire 1 or 2 shots at a time. One of his buddies said, what the hell's wrong with us? The Germans got them that can shoot
Yeah.
six right away or 8 right away. I'll work on that.
Yeah,
And he worked on it.
They had to account for their ammunition, whereas the United States of America soldiers do not. We shoot
Yeah.
indiscriminately.
Hey, by the way,
fire.
do we want to set the record straight in terms of who won World War II? Was it the Soviet Union?
The Soviet Union did.
Stalingrad?
Stalingrad
Well, I wouldn't
Petersburg.
vote for that, but
Well,
Stalingrad and
I
Kursk.
respectfully,
Yeah, yeah.
I think I
80%.
told you somebody told me England won it. You know?
80% of the Wehrmacht casualties were taken on the Eastern Front, not on the Western
Right,
Front.
right.
20% there.
Okay.
80% of German army soldiers died or were wounded or taken prisoner on
Yeah.
the Eastern Front.
Right.
It was all over in July of '43.
Yeah, yeah.
All over.
Well, Stalingrad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the United States had not even invaded Northern Europe
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
They
It was all
said that
over.
about Japan too. They say the same
Yeah.
thing, but yeah, I don't know.
I think we're
I saw a lot of the caves. I saw that
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
might have
but
gone
we're
on.
coming
But-
to the end
Yeah.
here. So, all right. Oh, we have
Yeah.
1 minute left. Okay, we have 1 minute left. So,
Well, I mean, the island hopping of World War II was a complete joke, a bad one for the Marines who happened to be responsible for it. But all they had to do was just fly over and take one island here,
Yeah.
one island there, and they would, instead of taking 15 or 16 or 20 and taking all sorts of casualties, Tarawa was completely, absolutely worthless.
All right.
More casualties in Tarawa than any other invasion per capita for Marines spent. Most of them died before they hit the beach.
well, okay.
That's
I think we've
ridiculous.
got to say so long, goodbye, good luck, until next time.
Yeah.
And as A.J. Musty once said,
There is no way to
peace.
peace.
Peace
Peace
is
is
the
the
way.
way. How
Thanks
simple
for
can
watching.
it be? Oh, that
Jeez.
World War
We were
II.
just